Apples like these are hanging in her garden too, back home in Nagorno-Karabakh. But Victoria Gevorgyan can't pick them anymore. Since fleeing from Azerbaijani rockets, she's been living with her daughter-in-law Anait and her grandson Arzvik here in Arelez, Armenia. She rents a place to stay from this woman here. When Victoria thinks about all she's lost, she makes flatbread filled with nettles and coriander. It's a typical dish in Nagorno-Karabakh. It stirs memories and comforts her a bit.
They're really spicy, with a lot of pepper.
Victoria had to leave her home with no advance notice.
We had to leave everything behind. We had just the clothes on our backs, nothing else. 6 of us took a little car together. We'd packed just 2 blankets to cover ourselves at night.
Azerbaijan's sudden attack on Nagorno-Karabakh caused people to flee en masse. In just a few days, over 100,000 ethnic Armenians fled from the enclave towards Armenia via the Lachin corridor in the mountains. They were afraid of being hunted down because of their years fighting for independence. Since the war between the neighboring countries 3 years ago, the region has been under Azeri control. The Armenians were forced to recognize the sovereignty of Azerbaijan over the land. And now tens of thousands of people from Nagorno-Karabakh, like the Gevorgyan family, must start over from scratch in Armenia. Five of them are sharing this patio in 2 tiny rooms. Little Arzvik's father has found a job as a taxi driver. His older sister doesn't wish to be filmed.
Words can't describe what we've been through. Every day, the little one asks when we're going back. Every day, in the morning and evening.
Armenia has taken on the refugees. Many don't have anything left and need government support. The European Union and international aid organizations have been sending aid, but the poor country in the Caucasus is overwhelmed.
The arrival of over 100,000 people from Nagorno-Karabakh is putting a massive strain on the Armenian economy, especially regarding banks, because most of the refugees have debts. Nagorno-Karabakh only had Armenian banks, and they are owed around $500 million now.
Like dozens of refugee families, the Gevorgyans fled from Nagorno-Karabakh and arrived in the village of Arelez with almost nothing. They're about 45 kilometers from the Armenian capital of Yerevan. Many are traumatized from having to flee and the war between Armenia and Azerbaijan 3 years ago. Many soldiers are buried at the cemetery in Yerevan. Almost 4,000 Armenians lost their lives back then. Almost every family had a deceased or injured acquaintance, friend, or family member to mourn back then, including Victoria Gevorgyan. Her granddaughter was killed in a rocket strike.
The kids were waiting for the taxi so they could be taken to the underground shelter. It was 7:10 in the morning. A rocket flew right at us. My 2 daughters-in-law were injured. It hit my grandson on the head, arm, and leg. He was bleeding a lot.
The war was a major turning point for the Armenians because their key strategic ally, Russia, provided less and less support. There may still have been Russian peacekeepers stationed in Nagorno-Karabakh to protect the Armenian population, but shootings were common along the Azeri-Armenian border. And even now, when Azerbaijan attacked Nagorno-Karabakh, Moscow didn't intervene to help.
That was a revelation for us. We understood we were alone, without our ally. It's a tragedy, and it hurts to say, Russia shares responsibility for this tragedy.
Like many refugees from Nagorno-Karabakh, the Gevorgyans feel in danger, remembering the fate many of their people met over a century ago when genocide took the lives of hundreds of thousands of Armenians.
I don't have any plans, just a dream. I'd like to return to Nagorno-Karabakh one day to visit my little daughter's grave. But I don't want my remaining children to live there anymore. I don't want to lose them too. For me, Nagorno-Karabakh will always be a war-torn region. We've lost our trust in both the government and anyone else. We only trust ourselves anymore. I don't know what will become of us.
Victoria Gevorgyan, her family, and their many fellow refugees don't expect to be able to return to Nagorno-Karabakh. For now, all they have left are their memories.